In the sands of time, there are stories of love and power so extraordinary that they echo through history. Was Cleopatra a cunning seductress or a brilliant strategist? A lover, a leader, or both? This is the tale of Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt, a woman of beauty, brilliance, and ambition who captivated two of Rome's most powerful men, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. From her daring entrance into Caesar's chambers to the tragic romance with Antony that reshaped the ancient world, Cleopatra's story is one of passion, politics, and ultimate sacrifice. In this story, we dive deep into the epic saga of the Queen of the Nile, uncovering the legacy of a woman who defied empires to shape her destiny. Stay with us as we unravel the most iconic love story in history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join us on this epic journey into the past. In the heart of Alexandria, the city founded by Alexander the Great, Cleopatra VII was born into a world of ambition and peril. The Ptolemaic dynasty, descendants of one of Alexander's generals, had ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. Yet the kingdom was fractured, its wealth coveted by Rome, its leadership marred by infighting. Cleopatra grew up amidst this chaos, watching her family tear itself apart for the throne. Murder was a common tool of governance in her household, and trust a rare commodity. Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy XII, known derisively as Auletes, or the flute player, struggled to maintain his grip on power, relying heavily on Roman support. From a young age, Cleopatra understood that survival required more than mere cunning. It demanded mastery of people, politics, and appearances. While her siblings squabbled, she studied. She mastered languages, becoming fluent in Greek, Egyptian, and several others. She immersed herself in science, literature, and philosophy. She was determined to restore Egypt's glory, not just as a ruler, but as a symbol of its resilience. When Cleopatra ascended to the throne alongside her brother, Ptolemy XIII, Egypt was on the brink of collapse. Her rule was contested almost immediately, and palace intrigue soon forced her into exile. Disguised as a commoner, she fled to the desert, where she began plotting her return. Meanwhile, in Alexandria, Julius Caesar had arrived, ostensibly to mediate the conflict between Cleopatra and her brother. Caesar was at the height of his power, having defeated Pompey the Great in Rome's civil war. The Roman general was as much a politician as a soldier, known for his ruthlessness and ambition. When Cleopatra learned of Caesar's presence, she saw an opportunity. While others debated terms and conditions, she chose action. Late one evening, a small boat docked near the palace. Inside, Cleopatra sat wrapped in a thick carpet, her eyes alight with determination. Her servant Apollodorus carried her into Caesar's private quarters. The Roman general was startled as the rug unfurled, revealing the exiled queen. Cleopatra rose gracefully, her eyes meeting Caesar's. "I seek not pity," she said, "but partnership. Together, we can shape the fate of nations." Caesar was intrigued. Here was a woman unlike any he had encountered in Rome. Cleopatra exuded confidence, her voice steady and commanding despite her precarious situation. As they talked late into the night, Caesar found himself captivated, not just by her beauty, but by her intelligence and vision. The Alexandrian War that followed was brutal. Cleopatra, reinstated as co-ruler alongside her brother, found herself navigating a volatile alliance. Caesar, though powerful, faced resistance from the Egyptian court and its supporters. The streets of Alexandria echoed with the clash of swords and the cries of the wounded. Caesar's forces eventually prevailed, but not without cost. The Library of Alexandria, a repository of ancient knowledge, was partially destroyed in the chaos. With Ptolemy XIII dead, Cleopatra became the undisputed ruler of Egypt, sharing the throne with her younger brother Ptolemy XIV. Yet, her true power lay not in titles, but in her alliance with Caesar. Their romance deepened, producing a son, Caesarion. Cleopatra saw in him a unifying figure, a symbol of Egypt and Rome's intertwined destinies. When Cleopatra visited Rome, she caused an uproar. Her arrival was a spectacle. A queen in her full regalia, accompanied by a retinue of advisors, servants, and treasures. Romans whispered about her influence over Caesar, painting her as a dangerous seductress. Despite the political backlash, Caesar continued to support Cleopatra. However, his assassination in 44 BCE left her vulnerable. Fearing for her life and her son's future, Cleopatra returned to Egypt. Her journey home was fraught with uncertainty. Rome was in turmoil, and Cleopatra knew her position would be tested once more. Years passed, and Rome's power shifted. The triumvirate of Antony, Octavian, and Lepidus ruled, but their alliance was strained. Antony, entrusted with the eastern provinces, summoned Cleopatra to Tarsus to explain her alleged support for his enemies. Cleopatra prepared her response with meticulous care. She understood that Antony, a man of appetite and vanity, could be swayed by spectacle as much as reason. Antony waited in Tarsus, impatient and skeptical. He had heard tales of Cleopatra's beauty and cunning, but he was not prepared for what he saw. Her barge, a floating palace, glided down the Cydnus River, its purple sails billowing in the wind. Musicians played softly as Cleopatra reclined under a golden canopy, dressed as Aphrodite. Antony was transfixed. When she disembarked, she greeted him with a smile. "You summoned me as a ruler," she said. "I come to you as a goddess." Their first meeting set the tone for a relationship that would defy conventions and reshape empires. Cleopatra and Antony became inseparable. In Alexandria, they indulged in extravagant banquets and games, delighting in each other's company. Cleopatra, however, never lost sight of her goals. She needed Antony's support to secure Egypt's independence and expand its territories. Antony, for his part, found in Cleopatra a partner who matched his ambition and wit. Their union produced 3 children and symbolized the fusion of Roman and Egyptian power. Octavian, Antony's rival, viewed their alliance as a threat. He launched a propaganda campaign portraying Cleopatra as a foreign seductress corrupting Roman values. Antony's decision to divorce Octavia and declare Cleopatra's children heirs to Roman territories only deepened the divide. The conflict culminated in the Battle of Actium, a naval engagement off the coast of Greece. Cleopatra and Antony's forces were outmaneuvered, their fleet scattered. As defeat loomed, Cleopatra ordered a retreat, with Antony following her. Back in Egypt, Cleopatra and Antony prepared for their final stand. Octavian's forces closed in, and Antony's remaining troops faltered. When Antony received false news of Cleopatra's death, he fell on his sword. Gravely wounded, he was brought to Cleopatra's side. Cleopatra wept as she cradled him. "You were my heart," she whispered. "Rome will never know a man greater than you." Antony died in her arms, leaving Cleopatra to face Octavian alone. Octavian demanded Cleopatra's surrender. She feigned compliance, seeking to buy time. In her final hours, she arranged for her treasures to be hidden and her children safeguarded. According to legend, Cleopatra arranged for an aspi to be smuggled into her chamber. Dressed in her royal robes, she allowed the snake to bite her, choosing death over captivity. Her attendants, Charmian and Eros, ensured her dignity even in death. "The queen has died as she lived," Charmian said, "a ruler to the last." Cleopatra's death marked the end of an era. Egypt became a Roman province, its wealth fueling Octavian's transformation into Augustus, Rome's first emperor. Yet Cleopatra's story endured, immortalized in art, literature, and legend. To some, she was a schemer. To others, a symbol of resistance against imperialism. Above all, Cleopatra was a queen who dared to defy her fate, wielding love and power with unmatched brilliance. Cleopatra's story is more than a tale of love and power. It's a reminder of how ambition, courage, and legacy can shape the course of history. From her daring alliances to her ultimate sacrifice, she remains one of the most iconic figures of all time. Did this story inspire you? Do you think Cleopatra was a cunning strategist, a tragic heroine, or something in between? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with fellow history lovers. Subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon, and join us as we uncover more epic stories from history. Together, let's keep the legacy of legends alive. Thank you for watching. Until next time, may the stories of the past continue to inspire the present.